Poof with the big love cloud. Hello everyone, this is Matt, your chaotic writer. It's fantastic to see you again. Tonight we are entering into the realm of SEGLESIA once again in order to uncover specific truths about a disaster that happened months and months ago in the city concerning the Arcanist Inquisition headquarters. In this secret meeting with the Vanguard, many different secrets will be revealed. And who is that lurking in the shadows? I guess we will find out in just a moment. Before we get started, I would want to thank everybody. Water is a great drink. I want to thank everybody for coming out and enjoying the stream this evening. Couple things. Once again, you will see the May sub goal located below. The number of subs that I had acquired on this stream last month was 14, so I'm going for 15 this month. No requirement, but I may as well mention. Also, I have some very, very tasty content planned for the near future. One of those things being that once this stream arrives upon 300 followers, I will be performing a 24-hour world building stream with carefully planned one-shots. So you can look forward to that. On top of that, I also have some other very tasty news. Ya boy, Matt, your chaotic writer, has been very potentially been added to a particular stream team. So you're going to see some nice, tasty, I'm saying tasty a lot because it is a very tasty, spicy evening. You're going to see some developments and some improvements happening on the stream to prepare for that. And you can expect that a certain Sunday evening, I will be starting a new world building stream. On top of that, one big reminder to everybody out there watching, anticipating, ready to enjoy Dungeons and Dragons, big reminder about the channel point system and your ability to affect the game in a positive and in some tiers, a potentially negative way if you really wish. So please familiarize yourself with the channel points below the chat. There are some fantastic options there. And you can provide the player characters some sort of boon to assist them in combat or in roles. Please do not forget to utilize those channel points. And also, if there is a particular moment of roleplay that you really, truly enjoyed, you can also perform a shout out with just 15 adventure points. That is the channel points. They're called adventure points. Aside from that, this is going to be a unique session this evening. We are going to have 6 players, not the typical 5. We have our new standby player from last week, but we also have a new regular player, and you will get to know them very soon. So let us go ahead and migrate over to the Tales of SEGLESIA overlay and say hello to our players for this evening. Hello. Which actually reminds me, I'm going to be doing a little, I guess I could handle this in a bit of a technical reveal as I'm fixing my work here. But we have, for this evening, 6 players. They are as follows. We have Phoenix V playing as Orgoth. We have Ambrose playing as Zug. All day, every day. We have Dr. Squiggums playing as Windveer. We have ourselves the one, the only, Masters 8 playing as Bala. You mean, I guess I'll ask a little bit about that later. We have Black Man Inc. playing as Scoop. Excellent. And then last but not least, our new player, a regular to the Righteous Sacrifice, the one, the only, Magpie 18, playing as Valvari. As it is delightful to meet you as well. Allow me to do a formal reveal of, as I'm trying to deal with technical difficulties here, formal reveal of your reactive image, a nice reveal of your character art. Hold on, it'll take a moment for me to do that. In the meantime, the question for the evening, just so that we get into the spirit of the campaign and the spirit of Dungeons and Dragons, I want to know from each of you, if you could be a dragon, what color of dragon would you be? There's a lot of different options, and the different dragons in Dungeons and Dragons have different personalities. However, even if you're not quite sure what the answer may be, you could otherwise share with me what sort of things do you imagine you as an individual would be doing as a dragon, and you could pretty much choose any background lore of dragons throughout novels, D&D, or movies, if you wish. So the first person that this question comes down upon would be Masters 8, playing as Bala. Gotcha. So you're saying that you would prefer to be a dragon in secret and make sure that no other individuals are aware that this is the case? Do you feel that it is incredibly dangerous to be known as a dragon? I feel like the answer to that is yes, but understood. I can see a number of different reasons that one individual would really take advantage of the stealth aspect of being able to shapeshift and be among the people while being secretly a dragon. I'm going to then ask Ambrose, playing as Zug, if you were a dragon, which color of dragon would you be, and what would you do as that dragon? The most orcish dragon possible. A green dragon. All right. I mean, you could be like a red dragon. I feel like the red dragon would probably be the most aggressive. Is it? Okay. In which case, moving it onward to Orgoth, what would your answer be? Which dragon do you imagine you would be? Gotcha. Prototypical red dragon, burning down villages because they can. Just stretching power, stretching your power. You are Smog. Scoop. Which dragon would you be? Now we're talking. So somebody who is embedded in, like, are you somebody who's embedded into society some way, and you're trying to like be a Gotcha. Oh, gotcha. I mean, as a dragon, you could probably kill that many pigs with one breath weapon, but oh. Gotcha. The most hated of dragons. The miser. The Jeff Bezos of dragons. All right. Magpie, playing as Valvari. What form of dragon do you imagine you would be, and what would you do as a dragon? Gotcha. So, how do you imagine you would interact with other people that come across your path? Oh yeah, there's people in this world too. One sec here. I wonder if hello, can you speak?
Hello.
Oh yeah, I did a thing and I didn't hit the voice chat. Sorry, I'm off my ball today, everyone. Anyways, so, yes, concerning the people coming across your path, how would you react to these people?
Can I just be like the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland, just looking crazy as a dragon, then being like, oh, you don't find my jokes funny? Well, okay, guess I'll eat you then.
Gotcha. So, very important that if you ever come across a dragon such as this, that you do laugh at their jokes. Otherwise,
very important to laugh at their puns. They'll appreciate it.
Yes, you will have hell to pay if you do not succeed in your laughter. So, that is pretty much going to wrap up my opening question.
I feel so loved.
I do, of course, again, I do apologize for not hitting the voice chat button. That was my bad. I usually don't forget that. But in this case, we came here to play some Dungeons and Dragons. That is the real reason why everybody is here tonight. So, are you all ready to play tonight's session, Tales of Seglesia, session 23? Let's play some Dungeons and Dragons. Is everybody ready?
Oh, absolutely.
Excellent. So, allow me to change the music and properly set the scene. Our heroes, the Righteous Sacrifice, a party that has been gaining a reputation around the city of Seglesia through many means of bravery, heroism, and some general ruckus around town, has been called forth to a secret meeting run and supervised by a particular faction that exists here in the city, as well as amongst the entirety of Leonios. This faction is known as the Vanguard. The Vanguard has one goal: to free Leonios from the iron grip of the Crown's Guard. That is to say, the faction that is subservient to the king of this continent. With the king in a coma, the leadership of the Crown's Guard rests upon the noble families most loyal to the king. However, again, with the king in a coma, this means a divided SEGLESIA. And so, as a civil war has been breaking out throughout the city, our party has been working to make a living for themselves, to make a name for themselves. Up until tonight, where they have been called forth into a meeting by Constance Denil, who is the leader of the Vanguard here in the city. And in that secret meeting, some very important information has been divulged. Information about the Arcanist Inquisition, a mage's academy, of which a sinister disaster had destroyed its uppermost tower and sent balls of flame raining down upon the city some number of months ago. And since that time, the Arcanist Inquisition had been blocked in access to everyone. And so, coming upon the scene of this secret meeting, we start with one individual who has, well, I guess you can say arrived a little bit late to the party. But this individual will soon find himself about as knee-deep as the rest of the party is in the affairs of this new mission to enter into the Arcanist Inquisition and to find out precisely what happened there. Orgoth.
Yep.
As you have in prior moments, and as you might have recalled, has happened to one or two of your party members at different points in time during your adventure, you had felt your echo, your spirit, exit the material plane, being pulled through a void. But soon after, you find yourself feeling the pull of gravity again upon the bottom of your feet. You find yourself once again breathing the air. And you find yourself in a place somewhere here in the city that you are not completely familiar with. However, amongst flickering lamplight, you notice that there is an individual standing next to you.
Orgoth will look at the individual weirdly and go, "You are?"
This individual, somebody who is donned in black, wearing a flat-brimmed cap and a plague doctor's mask, simply stares at you and says nothing. He simply stands there with the head of his cane in both palms, propped down upon the cobblestone. As I bring up the scene of which I am referring to, just let me know
All right, I see it.
Okay. Thank you very much. This is an individual that you have seen prior, at different moments in your adventures. Different individuals, as I had mentioned before, in your party have seen this individual pull a party member through a portal that had been opened up at the whim of a hand gesture and pulled through or pushed out of. You recognize this individual as the Keeper. The Keeper is someone whose mystery and whose legend has been spoken about in rumor in many different places in the city and amongst Leonios and amongst the entirety of the Auroraverse. It's mysterious and it's odd to be standing face to face with this individual. However, as he is staring at you, he raises his right hand, brings it to a pocket on his breast, and pulls out a sheet of paper and hands it to you.
He grabs the paper and looks at it. What does it say?
It says, as soon as I bring it up here, it's a very, very simple note. And it shows the following. Going to be sparse for a while. Have to go into hiding. We'll have a replacement. Signed, the Keeper.
You guys have replacements? Do you get any money out of this?
The Keeper, upon your asking of these questions, acknowledges your first question, and you see him sort of tilt his head to the side a little bit, which is sort of an inconclusive answer. Sort of suggesting like he doesn't want to reveal more than he needs to. To your second question, he clearly shakes his head. Clearly doesn't do this for money.
Oh, all right. What are the others?
He nods and he looks about. He steps back, and as he is gazing around the block, staring down one of the alleyways and then back towards you, and then gives a look behind where you're standing. He seems to be trying to recollect the answer to that question. And you actually find him bringing up one of his hands, gloved, and begins sort of tapping the very end of his plague doctor's mask in pondering. And then finally, he snaps his fingers and he looks south and he points in that direction.
Oh, all right.
He gives you a tip of the hat, and with that, he turns about, and you see a tear open in the fabric of reality as he gracefully steps through it and disappears.
Wonder if I'll ever have the power to do that. Oh, well, lovely chap.
All right. As you move south, you notice that there is somebody standing, actually leaning up against a door, who seems to be snoozing a little bit. Upon your approach, he budges a little bit, but doesn't seem to fully wake up.
Erngov just goes, "Oi!"
As soon as you say oi, he pops up full of action and immediately unsheathes his sword, and he steps forward, pointing his sword into, well, nowhere. There's nobody in front of him. There's nobody there. He starts looking around, and he realizes that you're standing there. And so he turns to face you with his sword still in hand, just in preparation and not obviously not recognizing you, and says, "Oi, what are you doing out here so late?"
Just trying to find my group.
Your group?
Yeah.
He kind of gives you a little bit of a narrow, slanted to rephrase, he gives you a narrow look out of cautious orbs and straightens himself a little bit, manages to rotate his right shoulder and give a huff of the air and says, "Well, I come from the mountains to seek the wise one." And he's giving you gestures with his hands as he's saying this.
The wise one. You're probably seeking Mogus. No worries. We just need to find people and sacrifice them.
He blinks at your response, and he shakes his head and begins to gesture the same gesture that he was before with different hand signals. But this time he says, well, with the same hand signals, but says different words, saying, "Tonight is the perfect night for a feast to the gods."
What sort of feast? A lot of meat? Some mead?
He gives a deep inhale and exhales in an enormous sigh, and you see him droop. And he looks up and stares directly at you, and he says, You don't get what I'm trying to tell you, do you?"
I kinda just got here.
He shifts
not really, no.
He shifts his look left and right, and then he goes towards the door, and he gives a small rap on the door. As he does that, the door just barely peeks open, and some other person sticks their head out, and they're sort of like, they're very quietly speaking to each other. It's just outside of your immediate hearing, unless, of course, you want to roll a perception check.
Sure, why not? No.
All right. Well, that is a 7. You are not going to hear the entirety but you get sort of a tone to their voice, and that tone is definitely one of confusion and not being completely clear on how to proceed. But you don't necessarily get what their exact words are. You see this individual who is just inside the door peek his head out a little further and sort of look at you and look back to the individual who you were just speaking with and shrugs. And he ends up closing the door. And the person that you are speaking with looks over and says, "Yeah, it's too late for you. It's probably best that you just head on home."
Look, did you see an orc pass by, or maybe an elf that keeps talking a lot?
Perfect description.
In the meantime, inside of the building, the other individuals would notice that one of the operatives has pushed aside the curtain and has pointed towards, in particular, let's roll it random, 1d4. Zug.
Oh.
And has beckoned him over. And is
What's
begging
up,
him.
small mans?
He whispers into your ear that there's somebody at the door who looks sort of like you, except they have more of a red hint to their complexion. And do you know this person?
Oh, it's Argoff Mans. He's the gang. Let him in.
In the meantime, the person that you were interacting with is like, what am I going to tell you? I haven't seen anybody like that here. Listen, curfew here in Marshall's Way, it's getting really late. And if you don't head home, then I'm going to have to take you down to the constabulary, my friend.
I don't technically have a home around here. I don't know this place.
Well, that's not really my problem now, is it?
Can you just look inside again?
All of a sudden the door opens and the individual that was inside steps out and says, what did you say your name was?
Oh, my name's Orgoff.
Looks over towards the individual you were speaking with before. The individual you were speaking with before, of course, is of a different outfit as the one who is now speaking with you. The first individual is wearing sort of a leather uniform, that of the City Watch, and the second individual is more cloaked in black, with a black cloth across his face. He peeks over towards the City Watch member and he sort of like gestures him away. And the City Watch member looks at you and says, sorry to disturb you.
Oh, that's all right.
I'll just check to see what's going on over here.
Try not to sleep again.
The individual that is cloaked in black looks to you and gestures to you with a sideways nod of his head to follow.
Cozy looking place.
And he pushes aside a black curtain that covers part of the interior of the warehouse that you have entered. And this warehouse is filled with, as you can imagine, various barrels, crates. You notice that there are many of these individuals that are in the same garments. And on part of their garment, you notice that there is a symbol of a hawk. In the same place, just around, just above the right breast. As he comes upon the curtain and pulls it aside, he gestures for you to enter, and he steps aside, and you immediately notice Zug, Scoop, Winveer, a bunch of new individuals you haven't seen before, and a fourth individual.
There you guys are. He'll look at the new guy, and I'm back to Zog and go, another Mogus follower?
No, I don't know how to explain. He's like a lamp.
A lamp?
Yeah.
I'm not a lamp. I just go into one sometimes.
No, he definitely has a thing for lamps. Don't believe
Lamp
him.
mans.
I'm
Did you
still
just say
talking
lamp
with context.
mans?
That's good.
Sorry, that got to me.
Orgoff will just go, that's a weird obsession.
It was passed on to me by my father. I'll accept it at this point.
Weird family, but it's okay.
Daddy issues.
You don't know the half of it.
As
Why are we here? Are we here to sacrifice stuff? Or eat food?
well,
Orgoff, I have no idea. Speaker Menace has been speaking way too much.
That's what he always does. Eventually, he's gonna kill someone just by talking at him.
You have no idea. Zug is really confused.
you hear a pretty hearty laughter come from an individual over towards the back of the room as they step forward, and they say, "You wouldn't be too far from the truth. Pendragon certainly has a way with words, and will certainly carve his way into most of your day if you let him."
It's not my fault that I prefer the oratory over the martial, but it's nice to see you again, Orgoth. Let's just say is that right now, I'll explain later when it comes with it, but this is our new employer.
Oh, alright. As long as they let me sacrifice people.
I understand that you, as well as your other orc friend, have come highly recommended in the, let's just say, the profession of sacrificing to Mogus.
Wouldn't know the half of
Yeah.
it.
We're
Yep.
professionals.
So allow me to properly introduce myself to you, Orgoth. Yes, indeed, I know your name. I've had intel on, well, many of you individuals for an undisclosed amount of time. However, my name in particular is Constance Danil. And I'm going to go ahead and show you once again the full character art, which is art that has been commissioned from the fantastic artist known as Madraw.
That's
I love
awesome.
The art's incredible.
It's quite amazing. And Constance, as the image indicates, is wearing a very blue and gold robe with a hood. Behind the hood, you see brunette hair, sort of a somewhat tanned skin tone, eyes that are a bright amber, and they have an interesting combination of delicate, noble features and a strong, proud demeanor. You can definitely tell just by looking at them and not necessarily knowing too much about the noble houses in SEGLESIA that this person is definitely somebody who belongs to a nobility of some sort. And she proceeds to look upon each of you and say, well, we have 5 of you. But of course, I would be remiss if I performed this particular mission, that is to say, the briefing of this particular mission before you, without adding at least one more to the roster. You see, through connections of my own, I have an operative of my own.
You know, I seriously doubt they're better than me.
Sorry, General? I'd be remiss to ask, who is the operative that's going to be helping us for the time being?
Constance looks to you, nods, and she stands aside and looks towards the curtain where she had just entered from. So I'm going to go ahead and drag Token onto the player mat and is going to gesture. And in her gesturing, the curtain is going to open. Like so. Yes.
Okay.
Just let me know if you're able to move your token.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right, boys.
You know, I take back everything I just said. They're definitely better than me.
Oh, at least one person knows taste.
Zeg's
Don't
bigger.
mind him. He's interesting.
He's what? Finish that sentence.
Abrasive.
I'm just speaking the truth.
But
Everyone?
I digress.
Everyone, please make your acquaintance to Valvari Carnago. Oh, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Valvari Canago. Delighted to meet you all.
I'm going to history her.
Val.
All right, go ahead and roll a history check if you may.
Ah!
Oh my god.
Oh, shit!
Okay, so that's a nat 20.
I know her social security number now.
You know where I live, you know my social security number. You know what I had for lunch yesterday.
So with a 25, this might, the first question I will ask, because I will absolutely make it dependent upon player preference. With a 25, it's while it may be a little early, I may be able to, I could certainly privately provide some information to Winveer, but that is at your player discretion. You did just step onto the scene, and I understand that it's a little early to.
That's what I was like, shit. I was like, well, I'll be damned. That is some majestic luck.
It just gave me that.
Well, let's do this. We're not going to resolve that in this session even. After this session, I'll see what information I can provide and what I cannot. Right. In the meantime, the one thing I will tell you, Winveer, is that 25, doing a history check, there's something from your studies and understandings of different groups, different power structures. There may be something familiar about this individual, but you can't put your finger on it now.
Sorry, I lost myself a little bit. Please continue.
Call me Val. Here we go on mission all together. Can't wait to see what you're all made of.
Constance, of course, nods and she says, Val will be my representative in the endeavor of which I'm going to provide you a full briefing on in just a moment. However, since all 6 of you are here, this is an optimal time for me to review certain pieces of information of which have already been shared with a few of you, but do deserve a level of refresh and recap. Do I have everyone's attention?
You always have my attention, General.
Don't play your luck.
That's exactly what I do.
Constance looks over to Val and kind of gives a little bit of a knowing nod. Val might know some of this information already. However, to all of the rest of you, she looks and this time manages to take her hands and gesture into the air. And as she does so, you see an illusion appear in the center of the room. As she begins speaking, you notice this illusion very slowly begins to take shape, although it is indistinguishable at this moment in time. But Constance goes forward to say, as I had mentioned, more than 3 months ago, a disaster of terrible proportions struck this city. In the dead of night, when a sudden storm brewed over SEGLESIA, centered upon the Arcanist Inquisition headquarters, something strange happened. Something outside of the eyes of even the highest of the nobility. The Arcanist Inquisition, as many of you may know, is a group known to push the boundaries of magical knowledge. And they found themselves in the midst of a cataclysm of their own making. Even at this time, the details of why the explosion at the top of the tower at the center of the Arcanist Inquisition headquarters, it's still a mystery, as well as the resulting magical barrier that surrounds the ruins. While the broadsheets claim that it was a ritual gone wrong, there are plenty of details that the SEGLESIA Herald and the public does not know. 2 individuals that managed to escape the Arcanist Inquisition headquarters before the barrier went up claimed to have verified the source of the disaster. These 2 people were eventually apprehended by the House of Inquiry. That is to say, the judgment and punishment arm, the legal judgment and punishment arm of the Crown's Guard. While one of them revealed much of this information to the Crown's Guard, our forces did manage to discover the other one and rendezvous with them in a place of meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that this new scene, everybody can see it. 1 second here, no token vision. Hit activate. Just let me know if everybody can see the new scene.
Yeah, loaded for me.
Okay.
I'm
You?
Gucci.
All good.
Yup.
As the illusion comes into full focus, you see basically a bird's eye view of a bridge. You don't know necessarily where in the city this bridge is located, but it is in the dead of night, and there are the flickering of lamplights just barely illuminating parts of this bridge and parts of each side of the canal. And in this vision, you see an individual in the garb of the Vanguard, and a second individual who appears to be wearing robes of the Magi. And they are conversing very quietly with one another. And as you are watching this illusion, Constance goes on to say, one of our operatives did manage to find a way to reach out and contact one of the mages of the Arcanist Inquisition and gain full, I would say fuller context of the situation in the headquarter building. However, before our agent had a way of ensuring the safety of this individual and ensuring that this individual could effectively rendezvous with the greater mass of the Vanguard, someone struck from the shadows. A bolt tipped with poison flew from the darkness and struck the neck of our contact. And it was reported by our operative that as the mage laid dying there upon the bridge, our operative managed to look up to notice an individual across the other side of the canal. He could not make out the full description of this individual. However, from what he could recount, or for what he could account, this individual was of short stature, wearing a very dark cloak and carrying a fierce-looking crossbow. Just as our operative noticed this individual, he had turned around to notice that there were two other individuals emerging from the darkness behind him. One on his side of the street, and another at the corner of the street. And as they had quickly approached, our operative had no choice but to leap into the river to try to escape, leaving the mage there alone to perish. And as Constance recounts this vision, she closes her hand and the vision disappears. And your attention is brought back to the meeting place. And Constance, with a sense of, with a sense of directness, a lack of remorse that comes from the line of duty of helping to run a revolutionary group such as the Vanguard. She nods affirmatively and goes on to say, from this point of contact, we were able to establish very important pieces of information. And so, I have brought all of you here to provide you a formal briefing. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to enter into the Arcanist Inquisition headquarters, to identify survivors, and to get to the bottom of what happened exactly that day during the cataclysm that struck the Arcanist Inquisition, and by extension, the city itself. And she goes silent to sort of observe each of you and to see if any of you have any questions.
Val kind of stares at her from a position and, without giving anything away, just kind of looks at her going, what will you be doing with this information once you have it?
Constance considers the question, and she says, that will depend upon the content and the severity of that information. It is the interest of the Vanguard to use whatever tools are necessary to ensure that the tyranny of the Crown's Guard is mitigated, is pushed back. And as a matter of fact, if there's any way to establish security in the region by way of ensuring that the people have a voice in this kingdom. And with a tyrant such as King Godfrey, while King Godfrey is in a coma, his very existence poses a threat to free peoples everywhere. And even in his state of a coma, the Crown's Guard still rules with an iron fist, is still responsible for many of a suppressive tactic, and it is of the interest of the Vanguard to ensure that the rule of the Crown's Guard ends. But we are in a crisis situation, and so the information might indicate that there is a greater danger. And if that is the case, then we should make sure that we are ready and prepared for whatever danger that might be. For, if nothing else, we need to ensure that disaster doesn't come to the city, and that if it does, we can save as many lives as possible.
This kind of seems a little heavy. I just started with this group. I'm just used to like helping people out on the street. I don't know if I'm up for this.
Haha, that man's scared.
I'm not scared. I don't feel qualified.
Just think of it like helping lots of people on the street all at once.
Exactly.
Wait, so we're not sacrificing anyone?
Oh. Trust me. There will be plenty of opportunities to sacrifice, if that is truly what your calling is. But I would not say that the ultimate goal is a sacrifice, but rather a saving.
Saving, right. I believe you also mentioned a poison. Can I have a look?
Well, unfortunately, the poison is not one that was... The poison was not recoverable, unfortunately. The bolt struck into the body of the mage that our operative was in contact with, and the operative was forced to leave the mage behind in order to save their own life. So the bolt is not with us. We have no indication at this time who it was that ambushed our operative, who and how they knew about this meeting. But it is quite possible that these individuals are within the higher echelon of the Crown's Guard and possibly the House of Inquiry itself.
Oh, you said higher. All right, Zog, we'll get to kill a lot of people.
Yeah, that means Mogus gonna take them better when we kill them.
We're in.
Yeah.
Val, you're definitely getting a sense of who the party is. The two orcs are your typical orcs, very dedicated to Mogus. You certainly do have Winveer, who's somebody who is a well-composed half elf, and somebody who is also somewhat of an insider on the business of the Vanguard. You have Bala, who is the individual, seems a little nervous, seems a little in over their head at this moment in time. And then you have Scoop, who is sort of chilling at the back, making, every now and then making quips towards Constance or other people in the room. And I guess what is your first impression of the group that Constance has assigned you to?
We're all gonna die. She's gonna lean into Constance a minute and go, is the priority here stealth? Or can we run in guns a-blazing?
Well,
I believe that's a question for the rest of you.
yeah. I go over to Val and goes, well, it depends on the situation. Some of us are stealth, some of us are running a gun, and more just depends on what we're looking for the flavor that time. We try to at least make it a little bit more stealthy than usual. If need be, we do have people to fall back on. But, we try the best we can. As I look her in the eyes, just been like, we try to make it hard.
How long have you fellas been a party?
Like 24 hours. I just got here.
Ball's new. Everybody
How
else?
about the rest of you?
Longest has been me, Zug, and Orgoth. We've been with each other for many months.
Alright, you're still alive. That's good for something.
Oh yeah, he talks them to death. That's why we're still alive.
True.
That'll do it.
One thing I guess I forgot is, just generally speaking, Val. As you were here talking, to the party and trying to get a gauge on who the party is and how they function as a group, feel free to share with them and with the chat what your appearance is. Kind of give them a general idea of your demeanor and what they see, as their first impression of you.
All right. You see a very tall woman, about 5'10", horns, black hair long that's plaited down the side, but fringe area kind of a white, pupilless golden eyes, in mostly leathers with a red shirt, leather straps in places, and she's carrying two weapons that to most of you might seem quite... Would you be like, are those even weapons if you've never seen them before? Metal objects, one at her hip, one across her shoulder. How common is firearms among the group?
Wave my gun.
There's one individual with one firearm. However, firearms are still pretty rare. But I'm sure that if you were to flaunt with the firearms you have, that they have not seen firearms like those before.
She sees you waving your gun, and she goes, "Ah, it's cute," and she pulls off the massive rifle-looking thing off her shoulder. It has a kind of sniper-ish looking lots of lenses on the top of it. So lens after lens after lens, that would kind of, you could tell was kind of like to scope out things.
But I'm not really that of using those type of weaponry myself. It's actually very helpful for you to even have that, have it with us. It's a little bit more interesting.
I'll try to keep most of you alive.
We don't need weapons. We have the Zug.
Yeah, I punch things.
You might scoff that off, but
No, actually, I believe them.
I was gonna say
on the team.
I've seen him rip the head of a giant turtle from its neck.
Okay, that I'm looking forward to seeing.
Was easy.
Yeah. Interesting day. Anywho.
Enthusiastic, love it.
It's more for the fact is I have it seems if we're going on this mission, I do have a special date with probably don't know as much. A little special date with Dace. We have a lot to talking to.
For her.
Yeah, I'm concerned for this poor woman at this point.
Constance is watching as everybody is conversing with each other. While this is a secret meeting, you definitely get the tone that Constance is certainly taking, setting the tone for the rest of the meeting, is taking her time in assessing everybody and making sure that everybody is acquainted with one another. She manages to interject and say, in reference to what Pendragon had just said, the briefing I had to share with you about the mission that I am bestowing upon you, 4 key pieces of information. The first, it has been confirmed through the witness that our operative has spoken with. The mage managed to see during their regular duties within the tower in the Arcanist Inquisition headquarters, that at the moment of the cataclysm, there was intense panic that had consumed the upper levels of the tower as the storm was brewing overhead. And before the explosion happened, the explosion that caused a rain of fire to come down upon the city, this witness, in their escape, managed to pass by the door of the High Observatory and noticed that there was an individual who was channeling a ritual at the center of the High Observatory. And amid this ritual, there was a orb of magic which was pulsating various colors. Not those of a rainbow, but those of more vile and fell origins. Sickly greens, deep crimsons, shades of ghostly gray. And while not all of you are educated on the noble families here in Seglesia and their backgrounds, one of them, House Artemon, is directly tied to the Arcanist Inquisition. The one that the mage had witnessed channeling this ritual was this man, Dace Artemon. As I go ahead and show you an image of what Dace Artemon looks like. 1 second here. Dace being the son of Azabin Artemon, some time ago was placed as the leader of the Arcanist Inquisition. It was through, well, very specified interest of the House Artemon, as House Artemon has been rumored to be a house, while stooped in magic, also stooped in rituals having to do with fell magics, devilry, and such. And Azabin felt that putting Dace at the head of this organization would not only provide a boon to the research of the house, it would also help conceal some of those secrets from the sight of the rest of the community. For a position of such power is a position of administrative control. It seems that in the midst of this, which is my second piece of information to share with you, these two witnesses that had managed to escape the Arcanist Inquisition, while they saw different things, our witness noticed that in the observatory, amongst the panicked group that was attempting to flee, there were monstrosities of sorts that they were fleeing from. Strange, as the witness could not articulate his thoughts correctly. It seemed as if something was inhibiting the mage's ability to recount all of the details. Something about this monstrosity managed to damage his memory of the incident. And the operative managed to report that each time the mage managed to recount memory of the incident, he couldn't help but wince, and at one point screamed in pain. This might have something to do with a particular infestation that has arisen here in the city. And Constance gazes over towards Zug in particular. I believe one of your party members has encountered, well, that is to say, the party has encountered signs of this infestation already, but one of your party members has had an up-close and personal account as of recent.
Oh, you're talking about the walking brainies?
Yes, Zug, I'm talking about the walking brainies.
Yeah. A lot of godmans infected too.
Which brings me to the third piece of information I have to share. It seems that these past 3 months, the Crown's Guard has been taking the information given to them by their witness and managed to discover a way through the barrier into the headquarters. While the Vanguard has been trying to gain information on that access, it was only just delivered to us by a loyalist defector in a recent meetup. And that individual is able to provide us, well, allow me to allow Akil to show you exactly what item we were able to obtain recently. Akil, who's this individual, nods as he is sitting on top of one of the crates, manages to step down, move over towards this crate, and you see Akil put on very particular looking gloves. Gloves that have multiple symbols upon them. Anybody that has a magic capability could roll an Arcana check to see if they recognize what these gloves are for.
Hey.
Okay, so we got Winveer, Orgoth, and Scoop. And then we got Bala as well. Bala rolled a 4.
4.
Yep. Got Winveer rolled a 22, Scoop rolled a 23, and Orgoth rolled a 12. Winveer and Scoop, both of you, in the practice of magic, it is extremely essential to handle any sort of artifact or magical item with care. The more rare or the more volatile the item, the more care needs to be provided towards the handling of it. The gloves in particular that you're seeing Akil don, these are the kind of gloves that somebody would don if they are about to handle something that is an untamed source of magic, something that is quite volatile. And if they, of course, have no interest in triggering any unnecessary effects of that magic. And so as they don these gloves, they manage to open up the crate, and they turn around to each of you and say, I recommend you stand back. Gesturing to Winvir, Bala, Zug, and Orgoth, as a matter of fact.
You're back.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and play this tune. And as he opens up the crate, he doesn't just open up the top. He manages to carefully undo the sides of it, as if he doesn't want to interfere with the item directly. He wants to ensure that, if possible, he doesn't even need to touch it. Like, the gloves are there just as a precaution in case he is forced to on a short notice. And as he unveils this item to each of you, you see this. What you notice is a cluster, a mound of material, which seems to be a strange conglomeration of condensed rubble, stone, and crystals growing off of this condensed mound of rubble. And as you are staring at it, and as you are observing it, you notice that there is an aura that is pouring off of it. One individual in particular may notice something. Scoop, can I have you roll a perception check? $20. Excellent. So, Scoop, it hasn't happened a whole lot in your relatively young satyr life here on the corporeal realm. However, as soon as this item is unveiled, and as soon as you start seeing this wisping aura of a color that you can barely describe, somewhere between hues of pink, red, and purple, you hear a ringing in your ears. You feel a burning on the tips of your fingers. And you're noticing that your tattoo is glowing, as it seems that the mound of rubble, crystal, and magic aura is interacting with your tattoo.
Is it like a bright glow, like to the point of like other people would notice it, or is it something a bit more subtle?
It is something that is not, it's not dim, but it's not something that would grab people's attention while everybody's busy staring at whatever this thing is. So it is something that you would have time to cover up if you felt motivated to do so.
Well, can I actually? He would I guess he would look at it and get a little bit worried. This whole time he probably has been smirking and has a cocky look on his face. But seeing as it has some connection to him, he would probably instantly sort of, wait, can I do this? You tell me if I could do this. Would I be
Sure.
able to cast prestidigitation on my tattoo so it looks normal? To sort of hide that it's sort of glowing?
Yeah, you could like sleight of hand. I mean, you could just abruptly cast prestidigitation, but I imagine you want to probably sleight of hand it.
Oh yeah, if possible.
Okay. Yeah, roll your sleight of hand. Yep, easily. You're able to cast prestidigitation without really anybody noticing, and you're able to cover up the glowing of your tattoo with sort of a with kind of a deceptive illusion that conceals some of the that sort of blurs out some of the light and makes it less noticeable, and doesn't seem like anybody's really paying attention to it.
As people are looking at it, he would, as it like the tattoo I guess looks normal on him, he would kind of just say, you sure you should be handling stuff like that? It's probably a bit connected to where I'm from, if you catch my drift. It's definitely some shit that shouldn't be here.
Can I roll insight on Scoop just to see? I probably wouldn't have seen anything with the tattoo, but can I get like a read off, like, is he feeling nervous or is he feeling like, you know?
Yeah, I would say you can roll an insight.
No, nothing. I get nothing. These are strangers to me.
He's an enigma.
You notice an enigma.
I see a person.
You see an individual who, of course, has a satyr like stature, and they just seem nervous. Generally speaking, doesn't seem to be anything that really piques your interest.
Seen a satyr? I'm guessing I would have.
Or you were guessing a wood elf?
No, I'm guessing I would have seen a satyr before.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure if I have or not.
All right. So in this particular moment, at least coming back to Scoop here, you once again feel a little aloof as you sense this presence as an effect of the magic of this object interacting with your tattoo, and thusly interacting with the veil around you. And you manage to hear, so, who, is this you? Is this you again?
Scoop trying to keep his composure would just like, he'd probably like be hitting his hand on his head, to try to keep his composure, but he wouldn't say anything.
Hey, you know, I'm I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Hey.
What is it? Who the fuck is this in my head?
Why, you look just like me. What's the deal?
No, what do you mean, what's the deal? You started talking to me. What's the deal with you?
What's the deal with me? What's the deal with you? You keep showing up. You keep showing up in an illusion right next to me.
You know, if you don't get out of my head right now, there's gonna be big problems for you.
Out of your head? You're in my head.
No,
what are you talking
clearly
about?
You're in my head. This is clearly. All right, wait. Who is this?
Who is this? Who are you?
All right, that's not how this is going to work.
That's exactly how this is going to work, buddy. You're in my head.
Okay, so we're both in each other's heads. That's weird. Wait, were you in my head before? Was that you?
Wait, that was you?
Okay, this is what we're not gonna do. We're gonna do this differently. On the count of 3, we're gonna say what our names is.
One sec, you caught me off guard. I gotta look up something.
Damn it.
This is incredible.
Is
You shared this with me, didn't you?
Room?
I'm trying to remember what this
I don't
individual.
know if I did or didn't.
All right.
I might have at the very, very beginning, but I don't know if I did.
I was sitting here waiting.
This is so
I was sitting here
fucking cool.
waiting for. Are you going to count or am I going to count?
I honestly don't remember. I'm like, I have it in my notes here, and I don't have a name. Okay.
I will DM you 2 things it could potentially be, which makes it funny.
Gotcha.
Secret. He's got a secret.
I am the Satan
All right,
man.
I'll choose one. I'll choose one of those. Okay. Well, if you want to play it that way, fine. We can do it at the count of. We can do it like at the count of 3 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Who's counting? Are you counting or am I counting?
Okay, I'm gonna say the first one. You're gonna say the second one. We say 3, and then we say our names.
Okay. Who's saying the first one? Is that you?
Me. Yeah, because I'm first.
Okay. All right.
All right, 1.
2.
All right, 3. My name's Bala.
Scrap is my name.
Oh, shit! Wait, Scrap. What the fuck are you doing? This is Scoop. What are you doing in my head?
Wait, you said you were Bala.
I lied.
All of a sudden, you hear radio silence as the conversation is completely cut off, and your tattoo stops glowing.
So, was Scoop talking to himself this whole time?
You probably noticed Scoop like looking around the room and just saying things out loud. I would say, like, I don't know. I don't think you concealed it. So you definitely returned to the room there, Scoop, and you're looking around and there are people staring at you. Constance is just sort of like blinking, like
That's fine.
trying to understand what
Scoop
happened.
would look around as everyone's looking at him. He's like, "Oh, did I fart? Excuse me, my bad."
No.
Tattoo man's lost it.
Are we sure he's stable?
I know the lamp isn't talking to me.
Scoop. What it was is you were talking to yourself and you said scrap. Scrap, like you're having a conversation.
Yeah, there's a bunch of scrap in here.
You're
a bunch
having a
of junk.
conversation with yourself.
You
Yeah.
often hear voices in your head.
Yes.
Good to know.
It's a Feywild thing. You wouldn't understand.
Orgoff would just go, I thought this was normal for him.
Yeah. See, he gets it.
All right. Back with
Hey,
the task
Matt.
at hand.
Wait. What is that thing exactly? He's going to point at that thing. Where? I need more information on that thing.
Constance goes ahead and speaks and says, "The what you are seeing in front of you is an arcane stone that is a culmination of the rubble that, well, when those fireballs came raining down upon the city, some of them were simple magical discharge, and it seemed that others had contained the evidence of the same magics that the barrier surrounding the Arcanist Inquisition is made of. This here is it's consisting of the stones of the building that makes up the headquarters of the Arcanist Inquisition. And it seems that over time, crystals have grown upon this stone. This is a material with strange properties. However, we were able to confirm that it allows individuals to enter beyond the barrier. Though, unfortunately, it is only one-time use.
And how exactly do we use it? Because he didn't want to touch it, so
it is out of safety precaution that this is handled accordingly, because wild magic can be dangerous. However, it is possible to carefully take some of the crystals off of this mound, and the crystals, if an individual is holding such a crystal, if they come into contact with the magical barrier, they can step through it. Although again, its use is one time, and the crystal will dissipate in the process. Apparently, the Crown's Guard attempted a couple times with similar fragments of stone that have been collected from other locations where the debris had fallen. They had attempted to enter, but were met with an untimely end due to the magical security protocols of the building. From what little they could see, many of the mages inside the Arcanist Inquisition headquarters had perished, either by the blast or torn to shreds by whatever is lurking beyond the barrier. However, they found out that at least some of the mages at the Arcanist Inquisition headquarters were still alive, though trapped inside the building itself. My goal, and is the goal of this party, is to use fragments of this mound to fashion, let's say, jewelry or trinkets, something that you can wear in order to approach the barrier and to enter inside of it. And unfortunately, there is going to be a little bit of a challenge, because while this entity, this mound, has crystals that will allow you entry into the Arcanist Inquisition, the Crown's Guard has set up a very strict perimeter around the barrier itself. You will need some sort of way to convince the leaders of the Crown's Guard to let you through. I imagine Pendragon here, with his associations with House Tibalta, could be the face in that matter.
Yes. I'll see if I can talk with Lord Sorry, I'm blanking out for a second.
Severo.
Severo, thank you. Lord Severo, in order to be able to see if we're able to get through. He's been really charmed up by me, if you will.
Indeed. And the reason I suggest that these crystals be forged into jewelry or trinkets is, well, if any of the higher echelon of the Crown's Guard manage to recognize that you're carrying these crystals, they will become immediately suspicious. So to have them forged into items that may not pique their interest, that will be easily concealed, will be highly recommended. Hopefully you know somebody who is a master blacksmith.
While she's talking, Scoop is going to start getting closer to this crystal.
Mm-hmm. As you are getting closer to this crystal, I'd say roll an Arcana check. And at the same time, I would like to have everybody else in the room roll perception checks.
Damn.
Fucking.
Squid's got the loaded die today.
I do! I hate it, because it's gonna end up like shit later on.
Aggression of the means, you know it's coming. You're gonna just roll ones, and ones.
Exactly. It's gonna be damage.
All right. So, Scoop, you rolled a 16 for your Arcana check. As you are approaching this crystal, explain to me what your intent is with approaching this. We'll call it an arcane stone instead of just calling it a mound of crystals. What is your intent in approaching this arcane stone?
So before this was brought out, last session, Scoop was busy drawing the general as a picture of her like stepping on Windveer. And as he gets closer, he kind of flips the page.
Love it.
And he's like now getting a closer look at this crystal to sort of sketch it out. He feels like there's something important about it. Being like a tattoo artist, he's constantly drawing. So he wants to get close enough and start drawing this crystal or this mound or this arcane stone.
Okay. As you are getting closer to it, and you are drawing its likeness, you exchange your glance from your drawing medium to it, and back to your drawing medium to sketch a little bit further, and back to it. And each time you look back to it, in the reflection of the crystals that have grown upon this arcane stone, you think you see the reflections of... It's strange, actually. You think you see the reflections of places that aren't near you. When you look up at once and look at the reflection inside the crystals, you think you see a fiery wasteland with lava flows, volcanoes, and floating rocks. And then when you gaze down at your drawing medium and gaze back up, you think you see pearly gates, clouds in the sky, a mountaintop. Back down to your drawing material and back up to it, you believe you see a realm of perfect order almost mechanized order with machine-like terrain. Terrain that is made of cogs and pipes, and that is perfectly geometric in its features. And as you keep looking back to it, you get this epiphany that it explains why and how it interacted with your tattoo, and that you heard the voice. It seems as if this stone doesn't just exist in the corporeal realm. It exists simultaneously amongst multiple planes. And at one point, when it was intersecting a particular plane, you could just very briefly commune with the said individual who was speaking with you.
Okay. Scoop doesn't mention any of that, as he's pretty much focused on his drawing and making it as detailed as possible, but he's going to keep that for a little bit later.
Gotcha. As for the rest of you who rolled a perception check, the perception check is not based upon the things that Scoop sees. It's based upon something completely different. Orgoth rolled a 6, Val rolled an 11, Winvir rolled a 24, Zug rolled an 11. Who's Nami? Is that... Oh, is that's...
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
that's right.
You rolled a 5. Got it. Everyone else is sort of watching the room and watching as Scoop is approaching this arcane stone. However, Winvir, you blink, and your gaze moves upward. You could have sworn you saw something move in the shadow of the rafters.
Oh.
Above you. And so as the following happens, do you want to inform everyone that you've seen something, or do you wish to keep it to yourself?
I'm informing everybody, mostly Constance. Been like, check for the rafters, for we might have rats. We might have a rat infestation.
All right. Since you have mentioned it, nobody is going to be caught surprised. But at this precise moment, a figure reveals itself to the very edge of the light. And directly above you, this figure falls to the floor. And as it lands, it takes a 3-point stance. It lifts its head. Its body wearing what appears to be the outfit of what could be a cultist or an assassin of some sort. But as they drop to the floor and they raise their head, you notice that they have the stature and they have the features similar to Zug and similar to Orgoth. Except, interestingly, this individual seems to have a complexion much closer to Orgoth's as this individual slowly stares directly at him.
Oh, crap, you bastards.
And as soon as Orgoth says that, a few more of these individuals drop from the rafters, and I'm going to need everybody to roll initiative.
Oh shit.
Combat, yes.
Need that turn order.
So let me make sure that I add everybody to the initiative. Add you, add you, add you.
Let's go!
It's cool.
Hey, low roll. Finally, once.
So who do I got? We got Orgoth, Scoop, Windveer,
What's
Zug,
with 11 today? What the
Val.
Okay, not
I need
fucking bad.
I need Bala. So Bala, go ahead and roll your initiative.
What is...
There you go.
Yeah, buddy! Confused and scared man goes first.
All right, so
Very
once we
alert.
begin the battle, the very first individuals that you see are individuals that are masked, but very clearly have the same look and appearance that Orgoth has, if not in a different outfit. You would definitely, and I guess my question for Orgoth is, what is your initial reaction?
He'll be pissed. And he'll shout pretty much, you bastards won't take me back.
All right. And in which case, we are going to begin the battle, and it is going to begin with Bala Mitra.
Okay. How tall are the ceilings in here?
It is about, you could say it's about 2 stories tall, and then rafters.
Let's see here. All right, I am going to I'm going to cast Blur on myself.
All right, so you're going to cast Blur on yourself?
Yep. And then I'm gonna have Nami attack.
Okay. So, now I don't have a token for Nami, so you're going to have to sort of describe to me how they attack and what that attack looks like.
So currently Nami is just kind of laid around my neck, kind of like a shawl, just kind of chilling, watching over me. And she sees this individual drop down from the ceiling, and she just lunges at them, almost snake-like, and tries to take a bite at them.
All right. In which case, what kind of attack roll is that going to be? Okay, so that's going to be a bite with a 23, and that is going to hit piercing damage 6. All right. So your pseudo-dragon Nami lurches forward and manages to bite the red orc assassin that has dropped just in front of you. And is that going to make your turn?
That is the end of my turn.
All right. Orgoth, You recognize each of these individuals. You might not recognize them precisely by person, but you absolutely recognize the faction that they are from. It is the faction you are from. It is those that you have been fearing since the very moment you've arrived here in SEGLESIA. And they finally showed their face.
Well, nothing to do but to sacrifice them.
All right.
So Orgoth will do his blood dancing. So my AC will be at 19 now.
All right.
And am I close enough to the assassin? Yeah.
Yeah, you should be.
I'll be striking my scimitar.
All right. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Oh,
9 is not going to quite do it, my friend.
Oh, that's it for my turn, I think. Unless I can attack again, but I'm supposed to hit someone before I can attack again, right?
That is correct, yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's it for my turn.
Excellent. So that's your turn. We are moving forward, and now it is going to be the Bloodsinger's turn. There is one that had landed right next to Val, and immediately upon falling right next to Val, they are going to stare directly at you, and they are going to... Oh, where's their weapon? Oh, there's their weapon. They're going to begin with a short sword attack against you.
As a reaction, can I uncanny dodge?
As a reaction, can you uncanny dodge? I do believe that's how uncanny dodge works. Let's see here. When an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to half the attack's damage against you. Does a 19 hit you?
Pretty sure it does.
Your armor class says it's 14.
Yes, it definitely fucking hits me, yes.
All right, gotcha. All right, so that does hit you. So that is going to be, so its first attack, short sword damage, that is going to be 9 damage against you as he takes his sword and he cuts an angle from sort of across your abdomen. Mm-hmm. And after doing that, he is going to take his other hand and let's see. He's going to take his other hand. He's going to cast Mind Sliver on Winveer, driving a disorienting spike of psychic energy into the mind of one creature. Intelligence saving throw.
All right, let's go. Let me just check. Here's anything like that. This one is just charmed. Okay. All right, let's just. I hope this works. Ha! Save.
Yeah. Nothing happens because you successfully saved. All right. So that is one of the Bloodsingers, and then we have a second one that landed right next to Scoop, but it is amongst the three of you. So he's gonna roll to see which one is the target. 4. Okay. 4 is this assassin. He is with a finesse with a blade manages to take out his short sword, spin it around in his hand, bring it up as if to stab something, and decides to stab it down into the arcane stone, thereby triggering wild magic.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
shit.
No.
God damn it.
So I'm gonna need somebody to do the honors of rolling a D100.
Oh, fuck.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
This is a War Gods gang. Yeah, let's do it. Come on.
Oh, no.
If it's a fireball, we are all blaming you. Phoenix.
We're all fucked.
It's not gonna be my fault. 172.
Only
One
one
D100.
D100. That's you rolled a 2D 100.
Oh,
89.
sorry.
89.
Yeah, hang on. Yep. 49. All right.
449.
You rolled a 49. Essentially what he is doing is bringing his sword down upon the stone, and in doing so, the stone becomes imbued with the magic of the magic that has been triggered from this wild magic surge. And so you see this blade glowing a sickly pink. And looking amongst the individuals that he has an opportunity to make his next strike upon, he decides, in particular, to attack Winveer.
Of course.
So that is going to be short sword attack. That is a 24. That probably is going to hit.
Yep.
All right. Dealing 7 damage to you, and the wild magic that had been absorbed into the blade is now projected into you. And 49 is you can't speak for the next minute. Whenever you try, pink bubbles float out of your mouth.
Oh my god.
Which means
That's so
any
poetic.
spell that requires a verbal component is pretty much nil, unfortunately.
We need that spell. We need to learn that spell.
No, this is a problem because I'm a healer.
Yeah, that's a little
Oh yeah, that's
kill him.
true.
Kill him before everything. Just kill him.
All right. And then, of course, we have a third Red Orc Bloodsinger. This individual is going to manifest a blade out of thin air made purely of ice, and is going to throw that ice dagger at, let's choose one of 2 individuals. Scoop. So you have an ice knife coming at you at a level 2.
He finna dodge this.
That is a
yeah.
17.
That hits Scoop while he has his stencils out. Will kind of like drop them into a split, and he will uncanny dodge half of that. But I will make I don't have to make this. I have to make the saving throw after.
Yeah.
Right. So so it's a ranged spell attack. On a hit, the target takes 1d10 piercing. So that damage would end up being.
Oh, it rolled it all together. That's weird.
Yeah, I guess it did. So yeah, that's very weird because that's not supposed to work. So the 1d10 was 2 damage.
Okay.
So that's not a whole lot. However, casting this spell of a 2nd level spell slot, cold damage increases by 1d6. Basically, hit or miss. The shard then explodes. The target and each creature within 5 feet of it, unfortunately, that's going to be his friend too, must succeed a dex saving throw or take, in this case, 3d6 cold damage. So
13.
So Scoop is going to have to roll a dex saving throw. Zug is going to have to roll a dex saving throw. Akil will have to roll a dex saving throw as well. And his friend will also have to
I have danger sense. Did I see this coming?
roll. Dangerous sense has to do with traps, doesn't it?
No. Let me take just.
It's
a
danger
look.
sensitive. If you see an attack coming,
Yes.
you have
If I
advantage.
If I see an attack, I have an advantage at Dex saving throws. So did I see it?
I mean, you're going to be able to see a lot of attacks. Does that literally apply to every single attack that is?
I think unless the barbarian is surprised, it applies to it.
Okay, well,
That's
you're
a
not-
live one's look at, but it's up to you.
All right, I'll have to review that feat, but for the time being, yes, you can use that feat.
Okay.
Scoop, you are not dealt any additional damage. You're only dealt the 2 damage. Akil is dealt a total of 13 damage. Zug, you beat the DC as well, so you're not dealt any damage, Zug. So that's gonna be 13 damage to this individual. So that was sort of unfortunate. Akil, however, is down for the count. Not dead, but unconscious. So I'm
Well,
gonna make him invisi. And unfortunately, that strike is going to hit the stone again. So could somebody please roll a D100 for me?
Jesus Christ.
I
got it
think
this time.
Mag should roll.
Me? Oh, good
Yes.
lord.
I think you should roll as you're welcome to tail.
Oh, yay. If we don't kill me if I kill us.
All right, 68.
One off for being a fun one.
In which case, triggering that shard. Let's see here. Wild magic is interesting because in this case it's not going to trigger anything because there isn't any relevant target for this to go to. So nothing happens at this point.
Nice.
However,
Oh, yeah.
one more combatant is going to make their entrance right behind you, Orgoth. This individual is going to appear. And they are going to do a combination of, get this, 4 attacks.
Yo, who is that? Oh my god.
Hello?
So this is the setup. You guys just all came in here.
All right, your armor class is 13. It only hits with
Oh,
one of those
AC is
attacks.
19 now
Oh, it's 19 now.
because of the tattoo is not working on the Foundry for some reason.
That is the which tattoo is that again? That is
See a barrier tattoo plus his blade singing.
armor class of 12 plus dex modifier. When you aren't wearing armor, the tattoo grants you armor class of 12 plus your dex modifier. You can
and I'm
use
not
a shield
wearing
and
armor.
still gain this. You're not wearing armor. So what's your
Nope.
dex? What's your dex modifier? It's 3.
Yeah, like on D&D Beyond, I'm at 15. But with blade singing, it would go to 19.
Oh, that's part of your. Trying to see which. Is that your blade song? You gain a +4 bonus to your AC, your walking speed. You can do it 3 times per long rest, but you can use a bonus action to start a blade song. It hasn't gotten your turn yet.
I did the bonus action, remember? I was the second one.
Oh, you were the second one. Okay, yeah. All right, you did that as bonus action. Okay, so that none of it hits you, but you see this individual just come in and start flailing at you, and you are quick and nimble on your feet, dodging each of the attacks. And you manage to see over this group of crates a super high jump and forward flip as this individual appears.
Oh, bitch.
And they are not going to quite make their attack because they were running to get to this location. So that's going to make their turn. And now it is Val's turn. There is a lot of individuals in a short distance, and you are in between two of them.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna point blank shoot the guy here. Oh, didn't mean to close the door. My bad. I'm gonna draw my pistol, point at his face, and just point blank shoot him.
Okay. Just to let you know, any ranged weapon, if you shoot at somebody who's in melee range, that is going to be at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So would you prefer to do that over your dagger? I mean, if you succeed, it's a 1d10.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like.
Okay, so let's give that a shot. Go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay. Disadvantage. Shit.
All right, disadvantage. So that is 14. Which one were you firing at?
The one that hit me with the sword.
Oh, this one right here. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Your shot is going to fire wide, and it's not going to hit that individual.
Fuck. In that case, then I will cunning action to disengage and see if I can just bolt this one.
All right. So you manage to get yourself some distance so that you can fire again next turn. Excellent. Anything else this turn?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Next turn is Constance, and therefore all of the Vanguard operatives. Constance is going to look between the assailants that have appeared. She's going to take a power stance and immediately going to begin casting a spell, and that spell is going to be Scorching Ray at level 3. One of those rays is going to strike the orc to her left. That is a failure, fortunately. A second one is going to try again, and a third one is going to try again. None of them seem to be hitting, unfortunately. So that is unfortunate, and that is Constance's turn. We have this individual that you are standing right next to. Her name is Zelga Silversight. She is going to brandish her weapons, and she is going to stand. She's going to look over to you, nod, and stand ready in case anybody tries to come within melee range of you, basically readying an action. This tiefling is going to step up on this crate and is going to cast Cloud of Daggers. One sec here. I don't know why it says I can't roll it. There we go. I'm going to cast Cloud of Daggers on the position of the Bloodsinger that is standing right next to the stone. That is going to be some automatic damage. That is a total of 10. And you all notice as this Cloud of Daggers appears and begins cutting and slicing, and you see numerous gashes form on the skin of the Bloodsinger that is standing nearest to the stone, and he collapses in a bloody mess and goes down. Aside from that, I'm going to just quick roll a single attack for these individuals. They're probably not going to be super effective. Nope. Nope. Those are failure. And actually, I need to disappear some of these other ones. And that's going to be their turn. Scoop, it is now your turn to attack.
What makes you think I'm gonna attack? Where's the cloud of daggers at? Is it like right here?
The cloud of daggers is right there.
Okay, so I can move around. Am I able to move around this crystal, or do I have to like go around it?
You mean enter the same space as the crystal?
Yes.
You can't. If you enter the same space as the crystal, not only is it difficult terrain, but I need you to roll a dex saving throw to potentially trigger wild magic again.
I didn't want to. I was just curious, like if I could, if it was like big or small. But Scoop is going to go up here. He wants to S5, and can I do that? Can I not move to the left of here?
To the
I
left?
basically want. Yeah, I want to like move up and like go to the. Whoa! Oh, that's a wall.
Right there.
I basically want to go. I don't want to go next to him. I want to get to the guy on the top left.
Okay.
From up there.
So
That's what I wanted.
I think you have enough movement to move here.
Oh, I have enough movement. It just wouldn't let me move. I think,
gotcha.
Like, right here
Okay,
is
yeah.
the wall,
Let me break
technically.
down some of the walls here. Okay. You have moved to that location, and feel free to make your attack.
Yeah, so as Scoop is kind of hopping over these barrels, he's going to pull out his cutlass and make an attack on this guy.
There's a 22, and that hits.
And as he's coming over there, oh, it's a normal hit. Where's my sneak attack at on this? I've already forgotten. It's been a while.
All right. And as you lay down this assault with your cutlass, what does this look like?
So Scoop hops on like these barrels, careful not to slip over. As he gets over here, after this guy's done attacking, like I'll teach you to pick on women. And he's going to jump from this barrel and like put his sword right through like the shoulder area, vertically through him.
All right, vertically, so like down, like
yeah,
from above.
Down. Yeah, and as he does that, he lets go of his sword and he kicks him in the nuts as a sneak attack.
So as this blade pierces down through the shoulder, cutting into the area underneath his rib cage, you can see as this bloodsinger begins to immediately scream out in pain as his faculties begin to fail him, but just to add for effect and for insult, you strike into the gonads of this individual, and they fall down upon their knees, trying to defend their private parts, but then topple over, completely unconscious and dead.
Yeah, you don't deserve those anyways. He's going to use 5 more. Actually, no, I have more movement than that. He's going to get in front of Constantine, and he will bonus action just offhand attack this guy with his dagger.
Okay. .26, and that is a hit.
No sneak attack, unfortunately, but
All right, 7 damage. Excellent. So you deal 7 damage to this individual. Particularly to describe these other individuals that can hit about 4 times, you see a figure that looks more goblin-esque, but they have large horns, wear dark-colored robes, and are very, well, not only are they very acrobatic, but you can definitely tell they're very experienced in martial arts. And they take a combat stance as they stand preparing for their next attack. as you come in with your dagger and stab into their abdomen.
As he does so, he just looks at Constantine, give her a wink, even though she's not going to appreciate it, but that's his turn.
All right. In which case, we move it over to Winveer Pendragon. You try to speak out, and pink bubbles come out of your mouth.
This is bad, because all my spells are verbal. All my abilities are fucking verbal.
Better show off that gun you were flexing.
I'm not doing it point blank. God.
I'm sorry. That's the name of the game. Sometimes you can't speak. I mean, unless you can cast spells with pink bubbles.
You
It is a
can't.
bard's worst nightmare.
Yeah, I'm just gonna strike her. I'm too angry at this.
With a rapier? All right, let's go. That is a crit. That is an angry crit.
Fuck spells, just crit.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yo, rolls, man.
Roll.
Alright.
I deal 8 to this one.
You deal a total of 8. All right. All right. So in which case, you take your rapier and in I mean, you don't kill this individual, but I want to see what this looks like because you did roll a crit.
While they're like distracted with Scoop, I'm just vehemently stabbing while you're just seeing more bubbles pop out of his mouth. An unusually angry Winveer.
So are you like trying to scream profanities, but all you see are just pink blobs coming out of your mouth? Okay.
Yes.
Most of you do notice that there is almost a small cloud of these bubbles that are just kind of shooting out of his mouth as he's trying to scream at the top of his lungs, just as whatever profanities that you can think of. You're thinking of like the kind of things that you can't say in public that people within your stature of a noble would gasp at or faint at, but you're going at it, and while nobody can tell what you're saying because they can't hear anything, they definitely see bubbles pouring out.
It would be things at this point you might get kicked off of Twitter. That's how angry he is.
Okay. Is that going to be your turn?
It's gonna be my turn.
All right, Zug, it is your turn. You are adjacent to one of these very martial art enthusiastic goblinoids. So, but of course, there are other individuals in the room that you have to potentially strike or attack.
Okay, so first question, Zug things. Comparing this with this, which one is taller?
Which one is taller?
Yeah,
The one that you just marked is taller.
this one?
Yes.
Okay. Bonus action, Zug is going to rage.
All right.
I will pick the wind rage, and let me take a read real quick, just so I'm on the right page.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna dash to here.
Okay.
Not just walking, but no Zug's way.
Okay.
He's gonna assume a very ominous JoJo pose position. As you
Okay.
can see, the stagnant wind in the room starts swirling around Zug, and he seems to become like the source of the air element in the room, and he's gonna fucking wail on his dude right here.
All right. Throw your attacks down. I like how you changed the names of your abilities to be chance. Yeah, that's great.
Recklessly. Fuck.
Recklessly 13. That is not going to do it.
Again.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all the cool kids are critting.
Oh, that's so weird. Oh, I see what happened.
You're only cool if you crit.
So you crit. So go ahead and lay down your
15 damage.
damage. 15. So I realized something. But I'm going to let it play out because I got other individuals to replace them with. I realized that in order to create this enemy that you were fighting just now, I built them in D&D Beyond and imported them, but it's treating all of them at like it's one character, like they're all sharing the same hit points. So I don't know what his hit points actually are, but that's fine because 15 is going to be enough for you to deal the rest of the damage to this one. So what does this look like?
Zug just right to the temple, left hook, just crushes his head against the crate that's to the right of him.
All right, so as you take his skull and you crush it against the grate, I imagine in a frenzy multiple times, you just hear a crunch and a crunch as you continuously do this over and over again. And the now disfigured face of this individual droops down and it is motionless.
Zug throws his body to the side, and yeah, that's my turn.
All right, so that is going to be your turn, which means we are back to the top of the order, and it is now Bala's turn.
So being freed of that person, Bala is going to let out a sigh of relief as he turns his focus over to this guy, and he's going to shoot Eldritch Blast at him.
All right, so go ahead and fire your Eldritch Blast.
So that's 13.
So that's a 13. That's going to hit the armor class.
Awesome.
So that is
So does 11 damage
okay.
with his Genie's Wrath, and then the second one, $24 to hit.
24 to hit. That is
And
going to hit.
and that's just 3 damage, not the Genie's Wrath on this one. I can only do that once per turn. And then as my bonus action,
Oh, that's
I'm
just
going.
3. I get it.
Okay.
Nope, continue.
Okay. As my bonus action, I'm gonna have Nami fly over and attack this guy.
All right, so go ahead and roll Nami's attack.
Nami is going to use her stinger this time. 20.
20. That is going to hit, and that's going to deal 4 damage total.
And I need a Constitution saving throw from him.
All right. Constitution saving throw. That is an 8.
Okay, he fails by more than 5.
Mm-hmm.
So he falls unconscious for an hour.
That's with the sting from your pseudo dragon.
Correct.
Okay. So this individual. Let's see here. Do they have any?
Isn't the DC 11?
It is, but it uses my DC because I have special things.
Oh, nice.
All right. You manage to inflict that poison upon this hobgoblin iron shadow is what they're referred to, upon this iron shadow, and they stand about, and you notice that their well-disciplined composure and their battle stance begins breaking down, and they begin wobbling, and they end up collapsing on the ground with their back against one of the crates.
And that is my turn.
All right. Next up is Orgoth. It seems there's only one individual that you can see that is right next to you that is currently up, but in the back of your mind, you know this cannot be all of them.
Oh. Well, time to kill with my scimitar, hopefully. Ah. Does that hit?
That is not going to hit, unfortunately.
Oh, crap, seriously. This is not going well.
All right. Anything else on your turn?
Well, I'll move out of the way, so go ahead with your opportunity attack. And I'll go over here.
That is going to be one unarmed strike as an opportunity attack. That is not going to hit you.
Well, that's good. And, well, Orgoth will pretty much go, be careful, guys. There might be more.
Now we're definitely kicking their asses. These guys suck.
And that's it for my turn.
All right. In which case, at this moment in time, throughout the entirety of the warehouse, you hear the following.
Time to send the bodies.
And upon that, I'm going to need... I'm going to make a handful of rolls. And based upon those rolls, I'm going to need to have certain people roll dexterity saving throws.
Oh, brilliant.
All right, 6, 3, 2, 3, 6, 4. Based upon that, we got 1, 2. All right, I need Zug to roll 2 dexterity saving throws. I need...
I don't see anything coming, right?
Correct.
Okay.
What is the feature called?
Danger sense. It's not a feature. I don't think it's called a feature. It's parts of being a barbarian.
Yep, just looking it up real quick.
Yeah.
Second level, you gain an uncanny sense of when things nearby aren't as they should be, giving you edge in your dodge away from danger. You have advantage on dexterity saving throws against effects that you can see, such as traps and spells. To gain this benefit, you can't be blinded, deafened, or incapacitated. So yeah, I mean, do you see this? You're gonna see the things flying in the air soon. So I would say yes, you do get advantage.
Right. You said
all right.
2?
Yep. 2 dexterity saving throws.
Nice.
I'm gonna need Scoop to roll 2 dexterity saving throws.
I'm rolling so high.
Is this effect magical? This is like a magic spell?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I'm gonna need Val to roll 1 dexterity saving throw.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna need Bala to roll 1 dexterity saving throw.
You're fucking kidding me.
All right. So out of the dexterity saving throws, who rolled below a 14?
Me.
We got Val.
One of mine did. The other was a pass.
All right.
One
So
of
we
mine
got
did as
Val,
well.
we got Bala, and we got one of Scoops, and Zug also failed
of
one,
mine,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one on Scoop, one on Zug, one on Bala, and one on Val. Got it. So, what precisely happens is you see the shadow or the silhouette of things that on the other side of this large pile of crates and barrels, something is propelled through the air toward each of you. And while at first you're not sure what it is, you realize it is literally the bodies of Vanguard individuals. So one is thrown directly in the direction of Val. Since you failed a dexterity saving throw, you're basically having a body hurled at you, and that's going to be 8 damage.
You're gonna be shitting me. Can I dodge it?
Let's see. Your uncanny dodge. When an attacker you can see hits you with an attack. This is more of a...
It's a body coming at me.
I'll let you do it. I'll let you do it, yeah. So it's only 4 damage.
Like, oh.
There is another body that is going to fly immediately at Zug, and that is going to be 11 points of damage as this body strikes you and then falls to the ground.
I assume I take half of that. Are we? I mean, sorry. Do we round up or down? I forgot.
You can round down. You take half of that based upon what?
Rage.
Oh, your rage, yeah. So you only take half of that, yeah.
5 damage.
Bala, its body flies through the air and manages to strike you. That would be for 9 damage. And then one final body would fly at Scoop, I believe it was.
Yeah, it's me.
And that is going to deal you 7 damage.
Scoop will also uncanny dodge this, but his
Okay.
uncanny dodge looks as if he is just getting in front of Constantine to take the hit. As he could have dodged it if he wanted to, but he wanted to make sure she didn't get hit with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was, yeah.
Constance sort of sidesteps the body a little bit as it comes through, but you valiantly step in the way to just make sure that she doesn't get hit. She sort of looks over to you and says, "Not that I needed the help, but thank you."
Didn't want to dirty your robe.
And as soon as you say that, you hear a as you notice that a bunch of the barrels and crates completely burst out of the way of this wall that has been built up here, and you see 2 individuals both storming forward. And let me make sure I can actually remove the walls here. Boom. As they burst through, and one of them rushes forward, and the other one rushes over here. And they look at each other, and they both give each other a fist bump, like they're ready to do some bad damage against everybody.
Zug is so happy right now.
And they both commence their rage. So I'm just making sure that rage is triggered for both of them. Fantastic. And then behind them, you will notice even more of these individuals appearing. as they rush forward. And now it's pretty much their turn to attack. So one of them is going to use what is called Shadow Jaunt to move over here. Basically, they dip into the shadows and they pop out of the shadows right next to you, Orgoth. This one is going to do much of the same. However, upon trying to get within melee range of Val, it's going to stop short as Zelga Silversight goes ahead and takes their short sword and makes a attack to intercept. While it fails, that Iron Shadow is stopped in place. And then we have another Iron Shadow that is going to rush up to here. And one more Bloodsinger is going to move this way. And what they're going to do in their turn is cast a spell, and it's going to be another Ice Knife. This one at level 4, and they're going to cast Ice Knife at this individual. And in doing so, this individual will have to roll a dexterity saving throw. Sorry if this is taking some time. Okay. Is going to fail and get hit with 7 damage.
I believe I have to roll 1 as well.
That is, well, so each of you... Oh, hold on a sec. I'm doing this in the wrong way. So that is an attack. That's not going to quite hit her. Okay, so it's not 7 damage. But yes, Orgoth, Windveer, and Bala, each of you are going to need to make another dexterity saving throw.
Right.
Okay. Anybody that is rolled below 13, the only individual is Bala, is going to be hit with 6 damage. 6 cold damage. And that is going to end their turn. So, sorry for the elongated turn. It is now Val's turn to go.
I have an extremely chaotic idea
Okay.
that could either be great.
You're
or
gonna shoot the
kill us all.
crystal, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm desperately thinking, should I shoot the crystal like a fucking bomb?
Do it.
do what your
We're
character would
highly
do.
against it.
I don't know. If it's
Yeah,
smart enough,
yeah.
but do
So
what your character would do.
it's the do I don't I, because it could blow us all up, and I'm like, because this is a lot of them.
Flip a coin. Let the coin decide.
Should I just flip a coin?
Yeah, go for it.
Look, I've already 20. If it's above a 10, I shoot it. If it's below a 10, I don't.
Wait,
Okay.
what's that? Is that an 11? Oh, I can't change it. Shoot, I wish I could. All right.
Can I use my inspiration on that? I'm just kidding.
I mean,
No.
only. I mean, you can't force somebody to use your inspiration. So,
Okay, if by the next 5 people are saying, like, someone tells me shoot it, I'll shoot it, okay? I'll just say out loud, should I shoot it? You know? And in the meantime, I'm gonna shoot the one right in front of me.
We need that thing.
Pieces might be left over.
well, what you've noticed is that every time it's been struck, one of the crystals has been triggered, and it triggers like some sort of wild magic effect. But this thing is chock full of crystals. You don't imagine that you're going to be depleting this thing anytime soon, and pretty much anytime that you hit it, you're going to be triggering wild magic.
It's so tempting.
It's your call. It's your call.
It's the one time where it's like, there's a few that have not us around the fucking thing. Okay,
I was
no, I'm
just gonna
sorry,
look at-
guys, I'm shooting.
I was just gonna look your way and say,
Yes, yes.
I've got a plan.
I love it.
Is it not letting you move over there?
No, for some reason it's not.
Let me, hold on a sec. It's not letting you
Oh,
move.
now I'm good.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
good. I'm a dumbass on the ruler. Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna point at it and go, sorry in advance. So I shoot.
All right. You shoot at it. Do the honors and roll me a D100 as your bullet strikes one of the crystals and a bright flash erupts.
Fireball, fireball.
32.
Come on, be something good. Please be something good.
Okay.
It's not like that. When the DM pops, it's not good.
Okay. So upon doing that, you see a bright flash, and there's this ghostly aura. I'm gonna get a light effect for this just to make it fancy. Let me change up the lighting animation. Ghostly light. There we go. Let's make it really, really intense. You see this ghostly light surrounding each of the individuals that are standing next to the crystal, and at once you notice each of them disappear.
Oh my god.
And you have no clue what happened.
I'll count that as a win. Unless they're invisible, in which case I'm fucked.
You won't know, and I mean, you won't know for now. I guess you'll have to find out what happened.
Somebody poke something quickly.
All right, is that your turn?
I can't throw a dagger, right? After shooting, I can't
Well,
like
let's
throw
see.
a dagger.
So you fired with your gun. That's your attack action. I don't think you can. As a free action, I feel like as a 3 action you can just throw something, but it wouldn't be an attack. It would just be throwing it.
No, it's just to throw it, just to be like, because I have a spare dagger. I should.
Right. So
I'm like.
So without taking any aim, you could just take your dagger and you could just like chuck it like it was just a piece of trash or
I'm
something.
gonna reach in my pocket, grab some ball bearings, and just throw it in where I saw those things are.
Okay. So at what space are you gonna throw it?
About. Oh wait, wrong screen. About here.
Okay.
Where I saw those big guys. It's a bigger target.
Okay. You should tell Windveer to duck really quick.
Yeah. Winter duck.
Gets anything, so I'm just like.
Bubbles.
So you throw ball bearings, and those ball bearings fly through the air, and they seem to bounce and land amongst the rubble, and they don't hit anything.
Okay.
They don't strike anything that was there just a moment ago.
I don't trust it. Be on your
Watch them fall
guard.
on us. They'll fall on us from the ceiling. I know what he's thinking.
Don't take 4 damage. It's fine.
All right. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
All right. In which case,
wait, I'm actually gonna take a bonus action to just hide among the crates.
Okay. So if you want to take a step over towards the crates and kind of do a hide, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Let's go back there.
Everybody seems to be engaged in battle with somebody else, so you may be able to just poof.
Come on.
Yeah,
8.
you believe you are sneaky, and you're pretty confident in that fact. So you are hidden. All right, in which case, next individual in line will be Constance. I'll make sure to kind of run through this real quick here. Constance, since they are within range of an individual, they are going to pull from one of their higher spells, and they're going to try to cast banishment, specifically on the Iron Shadow that is right next to them. So that Iron Shadow is going to need to make a charisma saving throw. And it's going to succeed, so they are not banished. So that is going to be her turn. Zelga is going to make a couple of... Actually, what Zelga is going to do is she's going to lay down Fairy Fire. And where 2 individuals are... Well, Fairy Fire does affect friendlies, doesn't it?
Yeah, everyone in the area.
Gotcha. So there's actually no good opportunity to do Fairy Fire, so instead she will just do a couple short sword strikes and hope they hit. One fails terribly, and one succeeds for, hey, 9 damage. That's not bad.
8.
And then the tiefling's name is Mandala Voidhunt. She is going to pull from her sheath, take her dagger, and she is going to literally leap over your head, Orgoth, and come down with a dagger upon that Iron Shadow. A non-natural 20, and is going to come down for 3 damage. Cool. All right, in which case, that is going to end... well, okay, so no, I got two individuals over here. Let me just roll their attacks really quick. Boom. And boom. Oh, they both hit. Look at that. One's a 3. And the other is a... +2. So one's a 3 and one's a... One's a 3 and one's an 8. Okay, cool. So that's -12, so -20. Cool. That is their turn. So let's move forward. It is now Scoop's turn. Scoop, you are standing right next to Constance. There is an Iron Shadow right next to you. There was an Iron Shadow that was unconscious on the floor, and there were 2 really large red orcs that looked like they were about to come and do some pretty nasty damage, but they just poofed.
And the light is still here, correct?
The light is still there, correct.
Okay. Scoop's gonna look at the crystal, a little bit worried, and he's gonna think to himself, I hope this doesn't like fuck up. But he is going to draw from the power of his tattoo, and as his tattoo begins to glow, he is going to bonus action cast Hex on this guy in front of him, as he wants to hex his strength. So these purple sort of magic from his tattoo pulls from him and kind of wraps around his arms.
All right. In which case,
just cast that, so I use it.
Go ahead and cast it.
And as that happens, his scimitar, he's going to sort of dip the scimitar in the magic that is coursing from his tattoo into him, as he is going to attack this guy with Booming Blade.
Booming Blade, let's go. That is a 20 attack roll. That's going to hit.
Okay, so we got a couple of rolls to make. So we got the Cutlass.
So
We
that's
got
going to be 6 damage.
the Hex damage.
All right, 10 damage.
We have the 1d8 from the Booming Blade.
That's an 8.
And as per usual, he's going for the nuts for his sneak attack.
Okay. So as you lay down this Booming Blade barrage with pinpoint precision on where your blade is coming down on this Iron Shadow, you feel like you have overcome a master in martial arts, and with swift and deadly strikes. Please tell me what this looks like.
So as this guy is being attacked by, I'm sorry, I don't remember this lady's name. He kind of takes this opportunity. He says, "Ha, you dropped your guard. I'm the most dangerous threat here." And he wants to stab his cutlass basically wherever his kidneys would be at.
Okay.
And kind of cut him right there. And as he pulls his blade back, he's like, "Yeah, you're not going to need this where you're going." And he ramps up his hoof and kicks him in the nuts.
This is becoming a signature
Jesus.
move for you.
That's his sneak attack.
All right. So you take your blade and you cut through across his belly, right where his kidneys would be located, and you see this Iron Shadow bend over and grab their belly. I would like to mention, as is sort of indicated in the art, that this Iron Shadow is actually a lady Iron Shadow. So you will essentially kick in the nethers. However, it gets the point across as they crumple to the ground in the fetal position, and then finally just lay with their back on the floor and fade into darkness.
It looks like my tattoo's working just fine right now. I don't know if those guys are actually still there. Scoop is going to area. It's a little bit crowded over there. Would I be able to see that this guy is here?
Which individual? Oh yeah, you'd be able to see that individual's there. That individual just saw a bunch of his allies poof out of existence, and so he's got a very nervous look on his face. He's looking like around. He's like, "Where are my friends at?"
Okay. He wants to basically move to like where this doorway is.
Okay.
And kind of get over there to sort of like get ready to surround him. Hopefully that he's not watching. And he's going to basically go in this doorway and sort of like crouch down if he was going to pounce on him next turn. But that is my turn.
All right. All right. Being that is your turn, we're going to move it forward to Winveer Pendragon, the magician with the pink bubbles.
No, at this point, I'm basically an NPC.
Oh,
Sad.
buddy.
All of my fun things require me to speak.
As you try to articulate this, it's just bubbles. Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah. I'm gonna move over here and I'm just gonna ragely, learning from Zog, I'm just gonna ragely swing at, stab this one.
Can't you still use your psychic blades?
Oh, because it requires verbal to use my bardic inspiration.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
Do you technically use your bardic inspiration when you use psychic blades?
You can look inspiringly at them.
And
It just says you expend one use. It doesn't say you use it technically.
So
Good point.
bardic inspiration, technically, bonus action, a creature other than this we can hear. That can hear you gains inspiration die. The creature.
No, I'm talking about his psychic blades ability.
Okay, but it says psychic blades uses one of your
It says
bardic
you
inspiration.
expend
Listen,
one use.
bardic inspiration does not need to be verbal. Don't you have an instrument?
do.
Right. So you can use your instrument
I'm
if
gonna
you really
use
want
my.
to. I mean, it's up to you.
I'm gonna attack him first. 15 hit.
17 is gonna hit.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sean. I'm gonna use a bardic inspiration to use psychic blades. So this one, I'm just gonna say. Need to find it. Here we go.
Which one did you hit? The top one or the bottom one?
I hit the bottom one. This one right here.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm gonna roll my damage. 9 and my psychic blades. 20.
All right, you deal 20 damage. Knowing you cannot use your voice, you figure that you can at least utilize your instrument to channel your bardic inspiration, and therefore your psychic blades. What instrument do you have? I just want to see what this looks like. You have a flute.
I have my flute. Yeah,
so you take your flute and you blow into it and start playing it, and there's bubbles that come out the end of
That
it
is
as you're
pretty
doing so.
inspiring.
It's afterwards. Is that norm? Because while I was like playing it with one hand, I stab it. Then afterwards, I grab my flute and then hit the pommel onto it, creating my psychic blade energy.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that. That works.
Right, that is into bonus action.
Mhm.
I'm gonna spend one more bardic inspiration, if I
Okay.
remember I could. You give it to. I'm gonna give it to Orgoth. Needs it.
All right. So you take your flute and then you point the flute directly at Orgoth's face, and you blow into it, and bubbles pop right into his face, and he feels inspired.
Are you trying to talk to fish? What's with all the bubbles?
Oh, it's you just see Winsevere's face, and he's just like super pissed.
It suits you.
I like speakermans like this.
I'm gonna smack him across it with my flute.
I promise I'll learn the spell and do this while he sleeps.
For once, speakermans cannot speak. All right. Is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn.
Okay. Zug, it is now your turn.
Zug, seeing as the big mans have disappeared and he is currently flanked by two small mans, he's going to say,
Huh, I guess you guys got unlucky.
and he's going to activate his tattoo. He's activating his tattoo, as you can see.
Eldritch Claw, let's go.
All the tattoos are coming out.
As you can see from his left shoulder, the tattoo of a claw ripping through the skin starts to emanate this eldritch purple energy that starts to swirl amongst the wind element he already summoned. And he's going to throw one punch here and one here. First, he's going to throw one here.
All right.
Recklessly, of course.
Aurora.
24.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't reckless ever.
Yeah, I would be shocked as well. So that's 24. That's gonna hit.
17 damage.
Okay, well, what does it look like as you lay down your strike upon this individual with the assistance of your Eldritch Claw?
You just see he just left hook to the temple against the crate that's here and just splashes him again, and he does the same thing, takes the body, throws
flashes.
it to the side.
Splashes her, but same thing.
Oh, my bad.
So taking your, so repeat that just so I understand what you're doing with your fist.
Left hook to the temple, right into the crate to smash it against the crate.
Okay.
Essentially.
So with one solid thrust of your fist, you bring it across the head of this iron shadow, and the force propels them into the crate, and you hear a crunch underneath your fist as the crate is not just the face of this individual, but the crate itself cracks and sends this individual barreling inside of the crate, and the body is not moving.
So now Zug's going to move over here.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, I got reach. Somehow Zug just throws a punch and reaches this guy.
All right, you see an eldritch. Is that your eldritch maul, or is that just your?
Yes.
Okay. Like inky tendrils. A phantom punch flies through the air towards the Bloodsinger that is standing there, and the Bloodsinger is able to sidestep your attack.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Right, that's your turn?
Yep.
All right, top of the order, we are back to Bala Mitra. You, Bala, you are surrounded by allies presently, but you know where your enemies are. There are 2 of them within 15 feet of you. There is one that is further back, and you've noticed that a bunch of them that you thought that you were going to need to fight have disappeared.
Okay, so Bala is very untrusting, so he's gonna do what he was originally planning to do, and hoping that the people are still there. So he drops Blur, now being surrounded by allies, and he's going to cast Hunger of Hadar,
Okay.
which is a 20-foot sphere, and he's going to kind of center it so it doesn't really affect his friends there.
Okay.
And it looks like just a cloud suddenly appears, a very, very dense fog surrounding the area, and it is very opaque and you can't see through it.
All right. This is your Hunger of Hadar?
Yes.
Okay. The effect of
Nothing
the Hunger... Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just hoping for you to explain the effect of the Hunger of Hadar,
Yep.
aside from the...
I was about to. So at the start of somebody's turn, if they start their turn in there, they take 2d6 cold damage. If they end their turn there, they have to make a saving throw or take 2d6 acid damage.
All right. Which saving throw is that?
Dexterity.
Dexterity. Thank you. Dexterity saving throw. Let's go. That's a 15.
Well, it's at the start of their turn.
At the start of their turn. Okay. Okay. So I'll just reroll.
At the start of their turn, cold damage already happens, and if they end their turn there, then they have to make the saving throw.
Understood. In which case, is that going to be your turn?
And then, not bonus action, Nami is going to go attack this guy.
Okay. Therefore, roll your attack.
Yeah, going to do Stinger attack again. $16 to hit.
16 is going to hit.
It's 5 piercing. And need a con save.
Constitution saving throw.
And
Failure.
they are unconscious.
All right, so
Nami's
they're
the
unconscious
goat.
too.
Nami's just great.
All right. Excellent. And is that going to be your turn?
That's my turn.
All right. It is now Orgoth's turn. You see a glimmer of hope. You had always figured that you would succumb to those of the clan that you once were a part of, but it seems like your party is very handily doing a fantastic job against them. But you know that there's, again, you know that this isn't, even if you defeat them, this isn't the first time you're going to encounter them again.
Yeah, that's a risk I'm willing to take. I assume I can see the red orc from here, right?
Correct.
I need to move a bit. All right. That'll be-
Hunger of Hadar, I believe it's a magical darkness. I don't think you can see it.
That's the one. That's the one north. I think we're talking about this one right here, right?
Oh, I can see that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that one. Oh, I'll move to him then. And time to hit with my sword and hope that fucking hits this time.
That is a hit.
Oh, finally.
Nice, finally.
All right, and after the hit, like his demonic eyes will flash and mark of the demon on him.
All right.
So now my second attack is gonna be with an advantage,
Okay.
which will be Shocking Grasp. Oh,
Use that bardic
seriously?
inspiration.
What was the bardic inspiration, like D4?
E8.
D8 because
D8.
he's
All right.
a much more effective bard than where he began.
Roll an 8.
Crap, where's that one? D8.
You
All
feel the
right.
tickle. You feel the tickle of pink bubbles on
Yeah,
your
I'll do
nose.
it. So 15.
All right, that's gonna hit.
Nice.
All right, well, the Shocking Grasp will be on the hobgoblin's neck,
Okay.
and that will be it for my turn.
So that is 5 damage. Okay, thank you.
No, it was 15 to hit. You didn't roll damage.
15
Yeah,
to hit.
the damage is 5. Oh shit. Yeah, that's true. Crap.
So what's
Sorry.
your damage? What's your
Shocking
damage?
7.
7 lightning damage. Excellent. As a bolt of lightning shoots through the body of this Iron Shadow, but they are still standing. Is that your turn?
Yeah. Oh, and he'll pretty much shout, "Oi! You fucking coward! We threw the bodies! Get your ass in here!"
As soon as you say that, it becomes their turn. And the first thing that you notice, while there is a magical darkness, one interesting thing about the arcane stone is that the magical darkness does not incorporate the stone itself. And I'm gonna need everybody to roll a perception check.
Oh boy. Listen.
I'm the only one. Oh god.
So all of you are going to hear the voices, but it's going to be Zug in particular, because it makes sense because you're standing right next to the stone. You are the one that actually sees the reflections inside of the larger crystals on the stone. While they are not here, they're not visibly here in the reflection, you do see both of these creatures, and you do hear the voice.
Hey! Where did they all go? Oh. Look in the shiny thing. They're standing right there. How do we get back there? Maybe we keep hitting this big crystal thing and see what happens. Okay. That sounds like a great idea.
Oh no.
As one of
crap.
them is going to strike the crystal, and I'm going to roll a D100 on the wild magic table. You
Jesus.
hear a loud ring come out of one of the larger crystals as it seems to reverberate throughout this room. And you notice that, at least Zug, you notice in the reflection, one of the large orcs that strikes the crystal immediately starts covering their ears and begins stomping around and saying,
Ow, ow, that hurts my ears.
And the other one looks over and says,
I love it.
Let me give a try.
they're gonna roll another 1d
Monkey
D100.
see, monkey do.
And upon doing that, you're actually gonna notice the fists of the second one begin glowing a bright red. And you hear,
Whoa! I like this crystal thing. My fists feel like they're bigger.
and upon that, being that it is the end of their turn, they are no longer in the ethereal plane and they are back in the material plane, but that was their turn.
Oh,
And I
Jesus.
need a deck save from them now. Well, this one.
That one.
That
Oh,
was
because
not it.
he is technically in the
Yep.
in the effect. Okay, so this one is going to, this one with his hands over his ears, it's going to be a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage. Disadvantage is still 15.
He succeeds, so I think this is an all or nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an all or nothing.
Meanwhile, this one is also starting its turn.
Starting, so he will take 2d6 cold damage, so he takes 11 cold damage.
Takes 11 cold damage. Got it.
If he ends his turn there, he'll have to do the deck save.
But it is magical darkness, and he doesn't know what way he's going. Is that kind of the idea?
Yes, and difficult terrain.
Okay, difficult terrain. We'll try to move around and try to get to the edge. But because not knowing where they're going, I'm gonna say that is an attack of opportunity as you see them exit the darkness there, Scoop.
Okay.
.21, that's going to be a hit. Roll your damage.
Now, I've always understood rogues can sneak attack on reaction attacks because it's once per turn.
Well, your sneak attack is if it's like if it's an advantage.
Well, because it depends on his position. Because I'm a swashbuckler, if it's, hold on, it's if he's 5 feet with no. It's just a little different for a swashbuckler. But I think I don't get it because he has that other guy next to him, and it's not quote unquote a one-on-one.
Let me take a quick look here. So if you have,
You don't need advantage. If you're in 5, and there's no creatures that are within 5 feet of you. Okay, so no, it's 5 feet of me.
okay,
So it would be sneak attack.
okay,
And advantage.
Oh, I don't need advantage as a swashbuckler.
Kick their
Oh, wait, no,
genitals.
all right. While coming out of the, let's see here. You rolled a 21. Still trying to find an ability to react to your attack, though. And is it too late to roll shield at this point? That's one reaction.
No, you can roll shield.
Okay. Cool. So that's going to be a shield. So that's +5 to the AC, which is... Oh, but it's a 21, so it meets the AC.
So it still hit.
It still hit. Okay. In which case, tell me what this looks like.
As he comes by, the sneak attack is Scoop has his leg out, so as he's like stumbling around, he ends up tripping.
Okay.
And as he falls, the hoof is coming down on the genitals.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. So you basically cut his leg off, right?
Down with the patriarch.
And then you follow up. Cut his leg off, stumbling, right in front of Constance, who's sort of watching this, and then of course your hoof comes down, and he completely topples over, and Constance just very gracefully and swiftly sidesteps as the Bloodsinger collapses upon the ground, dead.
Stupid men can't even see in darkness.
Yep. And then, of course, this Iron Shadow is going to try to go ahead and your first attack roll against a target on your next turn. Oh, that sucks. Okay, we'll just do 4 attempts at an unarmed strike against you, Orgoth. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Your armor class is...
It should still be at 19.
Still at 19, so none of those hit. So once again, you are you can take this into cinematic context, as you know the ways of those in the Bloodsinger clan. You are able to sidestep and anticipate the strikes of the Iron Shadow as they throw multiple punches at you. And that is going to be it's going to be all their turns. So they're basically just they're fodder for everybody at this point. Val, it is your turn.
Okay, which one has glowing hands right now?
This one has the glowing hands.
Okay, I'm going to sneak attack shoot him.
All right.
Because I'm hidden.
Because you are hidden. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Advantage. That's a 21 to hit.
That's 21 to hit, and that will hit.
Okay.
While it is going to be a sneak attack, they are raging, so that does mean it's going to be resistant.
And 2d6, right?
I believe for you, for a sneak attack, you are at level 6. I don't have the list on me, so I'm going to assume that it is 3d6 damage.
3d6. Pardon, how many?
3d6.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Okay. 3. Roll. Oh, only 15. That's bullshit.
So half of 15 will come down to 7. So that'll be 7 damage on the Red Orc Rager. All right. You aim true, and you manage to glance this Red Orc Rager right into the shoulder, but you notice that they're that they have begun raging, and so their adrenaline is preventing them from even flinching from that attack. And so anything else you want to do on your turn? I think you should be able to just duck behind stuff and try to hide again.
Yeah, that's exactly
There's
what I'm
enough
gonna do.
clutter here that I'll just let you hide pretty much each turn.
I can just stay where I am and hide again, like duck.
How it's kind of working within that whole pile of like crates and barrels, you're sort of doing the like the shooting games at
like
carnivals
whack-a-mole?
where the things that pop up, you're basically doing that. You're like popping out of the
Like
side,
whack-a-mole,
and then you're
fine.
popping up out of one of them. Yeah.
So rolls for stealth then?
Yes. But behind the scenes, it looks really swift as you're like spinning around and reloading your gun, gritting your teeth, looking around the corner, and then popping out again. So yeah, you are stealthed. All right. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Okay. So it is presently 10 p.m., which is typical stopping time. So I am going to do just the rest of this round, and then we will pick it up on we'll pick it up next week. But in this case, because we're on Constance's turn, Constance is going to go ahead and they're going to prepare an action. So they're not going to do anything precisely on this turn. Mandala is going to run forward. They're just going to do their scimitar attack. 22 success. That's going to be 4 damage. It's not enough to kill. And then, of course, we got 2 more attacks here. One was a success. Another is a success. Damage. Okay. In Vanguard fashion, multiple individuals working in sync with one another, coming through with their short swords and scimitars as they are adeptly rotating the blades in their hands and communicating with each other with thieves' cant, basically. As one of them slides underneath to cause the iron shadow to flip up in the air, and the other one comes lunging forward to stab their blade into the iron shadow as both of them come down to the ground, and that one is dead. The only thing left is Zelga Silversight. Mysteriously, you notice she vanishes.
Oh, shit.
It is now Scoop's turn.
Oh, I might have missed it. Did Constantine do anything?
Constance is preparing Constance is preparing.
Okay, cool with me. That guy's gone. Can't really see through the darkness, so what Scoop is going to do is...
You're on the edge of the darkness, so you would be able to see. You're not inside the darkness.
I can't like see through it, so I can't go through it and
Right.
do something else. So Scoop is going to come here, go there, and he is going to use his bonus action again because the person that had Hex went to 0, and he is going to cast Hex on this orc.
Okay.
As the magic from his tattoo begins again to wrap around this guy's arms. And as it does, he's going to do the exact same technique and put his sword kind of slice through the magic that's coming from his tattoo into the orc. And he's going to attack the orc with a booming blade.
Okay. So go ahead and do your attack and deal your damage.
That is a 13 to hit. Hold on. I think I will. I have no idea if that hits, but 'cause it's the end. Before you tell me, I think do I have to know when to use lucky? After you roll, but before the outcome is determined. I'll
Right.
use my lucky on this.
Okay.
We're doing all tattoos, so his tattoo will glow a bit brighter, and his eyes will a bit shift as he will just re-roll that attack.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Dang.
And
That's a
20.
crit.
The eyes know all. Oh, this is about to be a lot of damage.
Well,
Damn.
that's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. Okay, so the actual cutlass. I need to figure out how you guys do all the rolls at once, just to make it a little easier.
You can just go adding the dice at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, you can just hit. Okay, I didn't know that you can just hit add. Okay. That's +1. So I'll just do them
So
separately.
you like, if you want
That's
to add a d20, you just add you just keep pushing how many dice, so like the d12s or d10s, and then if the plus is like the modifier.
Gotcha. Okay. So I should have done this a little bit separately. So the 11 is just regular damage, which gets halved. The
Correct.
2d6 is going to be the hex damage, which I believe is psychic.
Yep. So that would be full damage.
The sneak attack is going to be 6d6s, which I believe is just whatever my weapon damage is. So that
Correct.
gets
That
halved.
is correct. So that's going to be halved. So mental math.
Oh.
That is going to be 22 damage. Okay, cool.
And then the last part of damage is still the booming blade, which is thunder damage.
Okay. And that's thunder damage?
Correct. That's the booming blade from the
Okay.
hit.
Understood.
He is also going to
sorry about that.
Attempt to. This is a free action. He wants to provoke this guy as the booming blade energy is on him, and he's going to move away and kind of give him the bring it sign to get him to move, and try to trigger the second effect of booming blade on this orc. But that is Scoop's turn.
Okay.
Hey
Gotcha.
Matt, they're sharing health again.
Are they again? Oh, well,
yeah, they are.
that is a-okay because I can
think
fix
this one is uninjured. I'm pretty
that.
sure.
That one is uninjured. That's fine. I'll just remember that one's uninjured. I'll fix it. I'll fix it for next week.
He's not uninjured. 'cause
we
he
got-
took-
Oh yeah, he did take some damage from Hunger of Other.
See, this is the part that makes it tricky.
That's true.
So let's.
Oh wait,
let's-
no, he didn't take any. You're right.
Correct. So
It
I'll
was-
just
it was
remember
the
he's
other guy that
uninjured.
died.
Cool. So it's now Winvir's turn.
Right.
You have two unconscious. You have two unconscious Iron Shadows, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to this one right over here. That was supposed to be that one, and I'm just gonna start repeatedly stabbing it.
Okay.
I'm not playing around. This is angry Winvir time.
Overkill.
I also get an advantage because it is on the ground. Does it count as automatic crit?
Angry.
Are you're stabbing the you're stabbing the Iron Shadow on the ground?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
I believe I get advantage for this.
Yeah.
And he does wake up as soon as you stab him.
I mean, let's see
I
what
don't
the
think
damage
he-
is.
I
Let's
don't
see
know
what
if
the
he's
damage is.
Okay,
And
maybe he
since-
wakes up.
I was gonna say,
If he gets stabbed
check
and
the
just
on-
sleeps through it.
again. I want to make sure. I just want to make sure if it counts as a crit or not with a condition.
I
Let's
don't
see
think
here.
unconscious does.
Oh, he's unconscious. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I think paralyzed.
The
is
attack that
only
hits
one.
the creature is a critical hit if the attacker's within 5 feet of the creature. Yes.
All right, what does this look like?
Oh, angry stabbing. Just angry
Just
stabbing.
angry stabbing.
Both everywhere.
Imagine a hobgoblin Iron Shadow gracefully frolicking through fields of green with flowers and giant bees and having a magnificent dream, and then all of a sudden trips and falls off a cliff.
Exactly.
That's basically that's what happens. Boom.
I'll end my turn.
All right, so that is the end of your turn. So Zug, you are the last individual to go in this session. Feel free to make your
Alright.
attack.
Zug is going to look at this big boy right here,
Okay.
and he's going to cross his arms and say, "Okay, you are big orc mans, but let's show you what a real orc is."
I can't hear you. His hands are still over his ears.
Zug's still saying stuff. But since I have unlocked my full potential, I'ma just do this over and over again.
Okay.
Does that hit?
Yeah, that's gonna hit.
14 damage.
So that's 7 damage. That's gonna hit.
12 damage.
6 damage. So that's gonna hit. 7,
15 damage.
7, 6, and brain.
That's
7,
another
6, 7, 13. So it's 20. That's gonna hit.
Yep, that's my turn.
8 attacks.
4 attacks.
All right. So you did 20 damage plus something, and hold on, my brain. We're at the end of the night, so I can't math. 8. 28 is what it is. So just for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna say that this one, boom. Just to make it simple because of how I got this all turned around. And I'm gonna do 41 and minus 28, which is 21 minus 8 is okay. Got it, everyone. All right, so you deal repeated blows against the stomach of this particular orc as they're holding their hands over their ears, and they end up having to take a knee and look beside their fellow orc, and both of them have very angry looks on their faces, and they both start looking at you, and they say,
You don't know what you just got yourself into. Oh yeah? Come! A true champion of Mogus will show you death.
and we're gonna end it there for tonight. So kind of nearish towards what would maybe be the end of the battle, but hey, we'll wrap it up at the beginning of next session. I want to thank everybody for peeking in and watching this stream, and I want to thank all of our players tonight for participating. And our players, as you can see on this fantastic overlay here, we have Squigs playing as Windveer. We have Black Man Inc. playing as Scoop.
Kick him in the nuts.
All right. We have Masters 8 playing as Bala.
Oh, hi.
We have Phoenix V playing as Orgoth.
Killing is fun.
We have Ambrose playing as Zug.
Miraculous attack.
And then we have our new player for this evening and future evenings, the one, the only, the mysterious, the wonderful Magpie 18 playing as Val.
I'm gonna shoot the crystal again.
Okay. Well, we will see exactly what happens at the beginning of the next session. And it has been a pleasure and a privilege. And don't forget to hit that follow button if you enjoyed the stream. Don't forget to go down into the doobly-doo and check out the website, YouTube, and all of that stuff. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching. It has been a pleasure and a privilege, and I, Chaotic and Ryder, will see you in the next episode. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. What was that? That was a blah, 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 blah.
It's Bubbles, man.
Yeah, it's Bubbles.
Bubbles.
All right, everybody say blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.